Hi all. Now we are going to learn about bond valuation, and the slides from this in this video comes from the book of Financial Management, Principal Application 14th edition, published by Pearson Prentice Hall, and the authors is Keon et al. 2021. Debt valuation and interest rates. Contents of this template, it's about overview of corporate debt, valuing corporate debt, bond valuation, types of bonds, and determinants of interest. So, okay, the principles that we are going to use in this chapter, there are three principles. First of all is money has a time value, which said that debt securities require that the borrower repay the lender over time. So cash flows have to be adjusted for time value of money. Yeah, so remember about the cash flows. When we see the cash flow, we have to remind ourselves that we have that the cash flows need to be adjusted at the period of time. Yeah, remember the timeline diagram? Okay. And then the second principle, there is a risk return trade-off. So the rate used to discount future cash flow in here depends on the risk of default by the borrower. Okay, and then the third one is the cash flows are the source of value. So that securities provide value to the lender through the interest payments on the outstanding loan amounts and the repayment of the loan balance itself. Now, I will explain about the corporate borrowings. Okay, so there are two main sources of borrowing money for a corporation. First of all, it comes from the loan. Okay, loan from a financial institution known as private debt. It could be from the bank or the other financial institution, non-bank financial institution. And okay, let me write down here. So it can come from the bank and non-bank financial institution, bank or others, non-bank financial institution. Okay, and the second form is bond, which is known as a public debt, since they can be traded in public financial market. So bonds is in the financial market. I remember when I said about that the company can issue securities. Yeah, two type of securities. First of all is stocks, and second is bond. So these guys are the securities. Okay, you know that stocks has two kind of type: common stock and preferred stock. Okay. Right now, what is the difference for these two? I mean, how, with, on what way that the company will choose between these two? Right. When it is about the smaller firms, they will choose to raise money from banks in the form of loans. Okay, because of the high costs associated with issuing bonds. So when the smaller firms issue bonds, then the cost is higher than they just having money, I mean, lending money from the banks. But for larger firms, they generally raise money from banks for short-term needs. Okay, and for long-term needs, then it's for the bond. But again, yeah, they can issue bond for the long-term financial needs, and it still depend on the bond market. Okay, right now you have already understood understood about the private financial market and the public financial market. Private private financial market, it's for loan from the bank or non-bank financial institution. So that's between the interaction between two actors. Okay, and for the public private financial market, that's for bond. Okay, let me put that first in here so you will remember about those two things. So loan is private and then bonds it's more public. Okay, now financial institutions are an important source of capital for corporations. The loan might be used to finance firms' day-to-day operations. So here we that it is uh, declared that the loan is used to finance firms' day-to-day operation, or it might be used for the purchase of equipment or property. So this is the needs to do these things. Such loans are considered private market transactions, okay, since it only involves the two parties to the loan, like I've said before. And in the private financial market, loans are typically floating rate loans. Okay, so this is the interest rate, yeah, which means that it's a kind of interest rate, yeah, this floating rate loans here, kind of interest rate which is periodically adjusted based on a specific benchmark rate. So there is a benchmark rate that needs to be looked up, and the most popular benchmark rate is the London Interbank Offered Rate, or LIBOR. Yeah, what is LIBOR? LIBOR is the daily interest rate that is based on the interest rates at which banks offer to lend in the London wholesale or interbank market. And what is interbank market again? Interbank market is the market where banks loan each other money. Okay. All right. In the floating rate loan terminology, we will have to specify the following terminology. First one is the spread or margin between the loan rate, spread, yeah, or margin between the loan rate and the benchmark rate expressed as basis point. Okay, now we'll introduce this kind of basis points. Right. And then other terminologies is ceiling and floor. Okay, ceiling means a maximum annual rate, and floor is a minimum annual rate to which the rate can adjust. So the floating market cannot um, go through the maximum, the ceiling and the floor, right? And then there is also a maturity date. Okay, and then the last one is collateral, where it means that uh, the collateral actually refers to assets or property that a borrower pledges as security for the bond. Yeah, so that is what collateral means. So such kind of guarantee for uh, the institution or the lender, yeah, to have a right to seize the collateral to recover their losses if the borrower going to be going to default. And also this reduces the risk for lenders and can make the bond more attractive to investor. Okay, refers to assets, let me write it down, or property, yeah. that the borrower pledges. Sorry for my writing, yeah, because there is again I'm not sure about what's wrong with my pad here. Okay, back here, borrower pledges as security for the bond. Now, for the bond. And the example here. A corporation may get a 1-year loan. 1-year loan mean here a maturity date. So this is maturity date with a rate of 300 basis points. Okay, so this is the loan rate, or if you're saving money to the bank, then it is called by interest rate. So what is 300 basis point means? If we convert this to the percentage, it is 3%. So 100 here is 3%. So if we have 20 BP basis point, it means 0.2%. So yeah, you just reduce 2 digit from behind. 1, 2, so 3%. 1, 2, so here is the comma behind, in front of the 2. And then 3% over LIBOR with a ceiling of 11% and a floor of 4%. So the interest rate might not go below 4%. The loan rate, yeah, and not more than 11%. Okay. Next is types of bank debt. Okay, bank loans are typically classified in one of two ways. First of all, by the intended use of the loan. So that is a working capital or a transaction loan, classified by the intended use here. And the second one, secured by the collateral. Okay. For the type of bank loans which classified by the intended use, there are two kind of bank loan. The first one is working capital loans. This loan set up a line of credit based on an open-ended credit agreement, whereby the firm has prior approval to borrow up to a set limit. So this type of credit agreement is similar to that of a personal credit card that provides a line of credit up to an agreed on limit. And the credit is then used to provide cash needed to support the firm's day-to-day business needs. For the transaction loans, firm will use this type of loan to finance a specific asset. So these loans typically call for installment payments, which designed to repay the principal amount of the loan plus interest with fixed monthly or annual payments. Home mortgage and automobile loans are examples of transaction loans that require installment payments. Okay, got it? Now, the second one, types of bank loan which classified by the collateral use. There are two, secured debt and unsecured debt. Secured debt is a type of debt that acts as a promise to pay that is backed by granting the lender an interest in a specific piece of property, and this is known as collateral. So the property used to secure the loan can include virtually any tangible, remember, yeah, tangible business asset such as account receivable, inventory, plant and equipment, or real estate. For the unsecured debt, this acts as a promise to pay that is not supported by collateral. Cannot supported by collateral. Secured is supported by a collateral. Here. So in unsecured debt, the lender relies on the creditworthiness and reputation of the borrower to repay the debt when it dues. Okay, so there is a trust as the collateral actually in here, in this kind of loan. Okay, let's go to the exercise here. I mean, example first, yeah, example of how to find the floating rate loan. So here I have a problem from the Slinger Metal Fabricating Company. They have a loan agreement with its bank to finance the firm's working capital. Remember, loan is for daily operations or buying a property or another tangible asset. So the loan called for a floating rate that was 25 basis points. 25 basis points over an index based on LIBOR. In addition, the loan adjusted weekly based on the closing value of the index for the previous week within the bounds of a maximum annual rate of 25% and a minimum of 1.75%, and calculate the rate of interest for the weeks 2 through 10. Okay, so let me find my pen first. First of all, no, given information. Remember that I've said to you, always write a given information. Okay. The spread of the rate is 25 BP. So if we change that to the percent, 1, 2. So here's 0.25%. Okay. And the maximum annual rate is the sailing. Sailing is 2.5%. Floor is 1.75%. So we need to calculate the interest rate for the weeks 2 through 10, where the LIBOR had been declared that the first week is 1.98%. Second is here. So this one is the benchmark rate for the 10 weeks, yeah. Okay. Now there is a diagram here, the graph, yeah, that putting the sailing rate 2.5%, remember sailing, and then the floor is 1.75%. Okay, so the floating rate cannot exceed 2.5% and also cannot below 1.75%. So how can we calculate the floating rate based on the LIBOR and based on the floor sailing, also the margin? Okay, so I will put again 1, 2, 3, yeah, until 1, 2, 3. Right, when we want to have when we want to calculate the floating rate of the first week, we have the LIBOR here. How much is that again? The LIBOR rate is 1.98%. So to find the floating rate, it should be a week before week 1, which is week 0. Yeah, week 0, but we don't have any kind of data here. So the floating rate, actually, the LIBOR of the week 1, week 0 plus margin. Okay, so it should be because the second week we don't have the data, then it is nothing, so we cannot add the margin of the 0.25% here. Okay, so let's diminish it. I mean, let's do not calculate this first, but we go directly to the second one. Second one, LIBOR rate is 1.66%. So the floating rate for the second week is the LIBOR at the first week plus the spread, which is 1.98% plus 0.25%, and it gives you, how much it will gives you? 2.23%. 2.23%. Yeah, so this will be, as long as it doesn't exceed the floor and also the ceiling. So remember, our ceiling, this should be between, the floating rate should between 2.5% as the ceiling rate, and this is, the floor is 1.75%. So this is okay to use. Yeah, this is the right one because it is still in the range of these two rate. Okay, the same as the third. The third is this is 1.52%. Yeah. Now LIBOR, the floating rate of the third week is the second labor plus margin. So the second labor is 1.66 and margin is 0.25%. So it will gives you 1.91%. 1.91%. So this still in the range of this floor and ceiling. So that's how you calculate these things. Now we go to the next slide. Okay, so this is how it goes. Yeah, we have calculated this one and this one, and the same as before. Also for the week 4, 1.77. Now look here. So 1.77 means that is the LIBOR 3 plus margin. Yeah, so 1.52% plus 0.25%. It is 1.77. Okay, so this is the same. Loan rate is this one. Okay, now look at the week 5 here. On the week 5, we have 1.60%, which come from, and this is LIBOR 3. Okay, LIBOR 4 plus margin. LIBOR 4 is 1.35 plus 0.25. It gives you 1.60%. Now this one is below the 1.75. So because this is below 1.75%, then the loan rate should use the floor. Yeah, they cannot use this one because it is too low. So LIBOR is actually the benchmark that the bank should not go from the range. If it is too high, yeah, it is not fair to the customers. But if it is too low, then this is also not fair to the competitors between the banks. Okay, so that's why, yeah, there is a word regulation to use this kind of way, yeah, this kind of rules using the LIBOR and also the spread. So I hope you will understand about this situation. Now, if we go through until the 10th, the week 10, so we will have this kind of floating rate. So this is the loan rate that is used by the company to pay the interest back to the financial institution or the bank. Yeah, and why is it floating? Because it goes it varies from week to week, so that's why it's floating. Okay, right, so this one is the conclusion, the fourth step here. The cap or maximum rate is never reached, but the floor, yeah, the ceiling is never reached. Okay, if you go back again to the table that we have, that the loan is already calculated, the only thing happen is that the floor exceed, yeah, or the minimum rate is exceed to a limit. So the rate charge, so the loan rate will use the floor. Okay, so that comes from the week 4. Floating rate loans typically carry lower initial rates than their fixed rate counterparts because the borrower assumes the risk of fluctuating interest rates. Okay, so now I want you to do the same things again, but I will change here because this exercise, this is the exercise, yeah. It has the same example from the one I have explained before, but just changing the spread over LIBOR from 25% to 75%. No, 0.75%. So this is from 25 BP to 75 BP. But I don't want to use the 75 BP, so you need to I want you to change this. So this one is not I will not give it to you. I want you to do the, well, 70 BB. Yeah, and you do it again like the previous one or like this exercise, because this exercise has been also done in this slide. You can go through by your own, right? So I need you to do this and do as a task for the next week task. Also answer this question. Okay. Okay, so now we go to the second corporate borrowing, and this is bond. So now I will introduce first the basic bond features. That includes bond indenture, claim on assets and income, par value or face value, coupon interest rate, maturity and repayment of principal, call provision, and conversion features. So indenture here is the legal agreement between the firm issuing the bonds and the bond trustee, who represents the bondholders. It lists the specific terms of the loan agreement, including a description of the bonds, the rights of the bondholders, the right of issuing firm, and the responsibilities of the trustee. Priority of claims on assets and income. So in the case of insolvency, claims of debt in general, including bonds, are honored before those of both common stock and preferred stock. In addition, interest payments hold priority over dividend payments for common and preferred stock. So if you remember this, when I have mentioned this inside the income statement, that after EBIT, earning before interest and tax, that should be the first thing that should be should be subtracted from the EBIT. It has to be interest first. Income statement, when you go from revenue, cost, and then you got an EBIT here. So the first thing that you need to subtract from EBIT is interest. So this interest comes from the loan from the bank or non-bank financial institution, or from the dividend. After this subtracted, then there's the dividend of preferred stock comes. Then this will be an EBT. Okay, so this is what it declared from the situation. So it has to come out first. So you have to, so this is actually also an obligation that we need to fulfill in our life. So if we have a debt, yeah, we have a debt, we have a business, the income from the business, the first thing that we need to pay first is the interest from the debt, not the profit to ourselves. Okay, and then the third one is the par value. Par value, I have declared it also in the class, yeah, 2 weeks ago. Par value of a bond, also known as its face value, it's the principal that must be repaid to the bondholder. at maturity. So in general, corporate bonds are issued with par values in increments of $1,000. So the principal payment is actually $1,000 in US. Okay. Also, when bond prices are quoted in the financial press, prices are generally expressed as a percentage of the bond's par value. Okay, maturity and repayment of principal. Maturity date refers to the date on which the bond issuer must repay the principal or par value to the bondholder. So this is the time when the company should pay back the bondholder. Coupon interest rate. The coupon rate on bond indicates the percentage of the par value of the bond that will be paid out annually in the form of interest, and it is quoted as an APR. It stands for annual percentage rate. APR is annual percentage rate. Current yield, yeah, next is current yield. So this is done. Current yield on a bond refers to the ratio of the annual interest payment to the bond's current market. Okay, so for example, we have a bond with an 8% coupon interest rate, a par value of 1,000 and a market price of 700. It has a current yield of 11.4%. So this is the current yield, means the yield at the day. Yeah. This is different what I've mentioned about the general yield. General yield is the average of rate of return that the return that in the investor wants to have. So this is current, yeah, it means current day. So current yield, it is the annual interest payment. So this means is a coupon over price. Yeah, so coupon today over price today. So that is the rate of today, if we call that a current, yeah. Okay, so this is the example. A coupon 8% of a par value, and the price is this one. So the current yield is 80 over 700. So this is 11.4. Call provision. Yeah, the call provision provides the issuer of the bond with the rights to redeem or retire a bond before it matures. So it means that the bondholder is selling the bond before the maturity date. Conversion feature. Some bonds have a conversion feature that allows bondholders to convert their bonds into a set number of shares of common stock. So this is a kind of when the company or the bond issuers have in a stage of default, yeah, or bankrupt, you say that, the holder of the bond can convert that to the common stock. Yeah, so instead of having a bond, instead of holding a bond, they will convert that to the common stock. So then if it is converted to the common stock, means that the obligation of the owner will goes to them, and they will be the owner, no longer a lender. Sorry, borrower. Yeah. Okay, now we go to the characteristic of bonds. So mainly the characteristic of bonds is almost the same as the bond terminology. Yeah. So it has here claims on asset and income. Yeah. So I have explained that before. Par value or face value. Now and then the other things is the additional character inside bond is clean price and dirty price. So bond prices are generally quoted in a form called the clean price. This refers to the price before considering any accrued interest that the current owner is owed. However, what you would actually pay is the clean price or the quoted price plus accrued interest, we refer to this as the dirty price or the invoice price. So dirty price basically the clean price plus accrued interest. Okay, then the coupon interest rate is still the same. Maturity repayment okay. Call provision and conversion features is the same. The last one is bond ratings and default risk. So bond rating, it's began to to show in 1909. This helping investors or the gonna be bondholders to determine the riskiness of various bonds. Since 1909, there are three rating agencies in US, of course: Moody's, Standard and Poor's or S&P, and Fitch Investor Services. They have provided bond ratings on corporate bonds based on an evaluation of the probability that the bond issuer will make the bond's promised payments. Okay. Now, beside bond ratings, there is also called with default risk. So bond ratings indicate the default risk. It means that the probability that the firm will make the promised payment. Bond ratings affect the rate of return that lenders require of the firm and the firm's cost of borrowing. And this is consistent with the second principle that I have mentioned in the beginning. There is a risk-return trade-off. The lower the bond rating, the higher the risk of default and higher the rate of return demanded in the capital market. Yeah. Okay, next. So the ratings here, the good one is rating with an A. Yeah, so if it is a very good one, prime bond, or it has a highest and strong quality that can guarantee the bondholder to have their money back. So the grade is A, triple A. Below this is double A. Below that again A. Below that again triple B. So from triple A to from triple A to triple B, it is an investment grade. But below triple B, it is a not investment grade. So the character of the grade here is a very speculative one, and the bad company, if I can say that, yeah, it means that actually they don't have a very good ability to pay interest. So it is rated with a D. Okay, if I can add here rating agencies in Indonesia, and which is controlled or recognized by the OJK, the agencies that in Indonesia's government have is a Perfindo, Pemeringkat Efek Indonesia. Okay, now we go to valuing corporate debt. So I think I have mentioned this in the class, so I don't go through this again. Yeah, valuing corporate debt. You will go through that, go back again to what I have explained. Okay, so this is the compare, I mean, to see what the value, the real value of the corporate debt is. Yeah, so you are going to calculate all the cash flows that you have from the coupon and also the principal uh, payment or the par value, and you discount it to the present, the day when you will buy the bond. You're valuing that, yeah, and you compare, if you find a value, and then you compare that with the price, if that value or intrinsic value higher than the price, means that the price is undervalued. Okay, and if it is lower than the price, then it means that the the bond is overvalued. Okay, so this is the example. Consider a 1,000 par value bond issued by AT&T. So given here, par is 1,000. If in the exercise that doesn't state par, yeah, consider that as $1,000. Okay. Now, with a maturity date of 2035 and a stated coupon rate of 8.5%, 8.5% out of 1,000. So that is 8.5. Okay, so times 10, it is $85. Now, on 1st January 16, the bond had 20 years left to maturity. So the N is 20 years. And this is the same as from 2016 to 2035 is also 20. Yeah. January 1st. Okay. The market's required yield to maturity for similar rate. So yield here is 7.5%. Okay, if the market required yield, okay, what is the value of bond? Yeah, now we go to the value of bond. I don't want to explain that anymore because I have taught you that 2 weeks ago, right? So coupon, yeah, equal with 1 minus 1 plus I over N over I. Okay, so because this is no longer about interest rate, oh, I forgot this is negative, yeah. So the I here, I'll change that with a yield. So plus par times 1 plus yield minus N. Yeah, remember the timeline, okay? I'll draw it again here so that you can imagine the story below. So this is 20 and N equal 20. This is 0, this is 1. So every year the coupon will be given here until year 20, and then at the maturity time you also get par. So here you see coupon is like the payment, yeah, so it has a constant payment, and at the same period from year 1 to period 1 to period 20. So then we can use the payment equation. Okay, and the par here you discount it back to yeah, this one, sorry, all C's also discounted here until year 0. Okay, so the first one is this one. Where is that again? Here is the part of 1, and here is the part of 2 Romawi. Now 2 Romawi, yeah, okay. So then you just fill in all the number here. 85, 1 minus 1 plus 7.5% minus 20 here over 7.5% plus par is 1,001 plus 7.5%, and here is minus 20. So after some punching on your calculator, it will gives you, wait a minute, it will gives you 1101. Okay, like this. Yeah. Okay, in the slide you can see the picture given to you here, like what I explained before. You can read this. This is the same, yeah, like we have done. So now this is solving. Look here, yeah, the same, yeah. Okay, here are all the same. Now, and the analyze here, the value we calculate for the bond is $1,101.94, which exceeds the 1,000 par value of the bond. So this situation reflects the fact that the market's required yield to maturity on a comparable risk bond is less than coupon rate of interest paid on the bond of 8.5%. So in all likelihood, when the AT&T bonds were originally issued, they were issued at par because the market's required yield to maturity on comparable risk bonds was at or very near to the 8.5% coupon rate. Since the time of issue declined, yeah, since the time of issue, however, market rates of interest have declined, so the bonds now sell at a premium. Thus, if the bonds are sold for 1,101.94, they will yield a return of only 7.5%. Okay, so uh, if it is lower than 1,000, the return should higher than the coupon. Okay, now we go to semi-annual interest payments. Corporate bonds typically pay interest to bondholders semi-annually. So in a year, they will pay 2 times. Okay, so we can adapt equation 9. We can adapt the equation that I have written before from annual to semi-annual payments as follow. So I will go back again to our exercise. Yeah. So now we go back again to our first exercise, but now it is an additional here that the coupon rate that the AT&T pays interest to bondholders on a semi-annual basis. Yeah, on January 15 and July 15. So okay, given that it is the same problem, but the one is changed only the payment of the coupon. Okay, so given here that the C it's still $85. Okay, 8.5% out of 1,000. This is dollar, yeah. Okay, so this is annually, right? Now when it is goes to semi-annually, it becomes 85 over 2. So the same annually, but it is given twice a year. So that is semi-annually. Yeah, 85 over 2 is $2.5 semi-an, yeah. Okay, now the n from 20 years, so the bond given in 20 years but twice a year, so it becomes twice a year's time 20 years. So the period or the n will be 40 semesters. Yeah, I can say this also like semester, semi-annually, semester. Okay, now the par is the same. Par still 1,000, right? What else? What else? The coupon is already... Okay, now the yield is 7.5 per year, annual. So now it goes to semi-annual. We also have to divide it into 2. Yeah. Sorry. 7%. 7.5% semi-annually. Now, if you have already the information doing like this, then the equation is just the same. Yeah. So, I mean, most of the book, yeah, most of the theory, break it down into a different equation. So, like, I think I will show that later on, yeah. So instead of memorizing another equation, you just do like this, yeah. So well, most of the theories always goes like this for semi-annually, value bond semi-annual. Semi-annual, it is a coupon over 2, right? And then 1 minus 1 plus yield over 2 and times 2 over like this plus par 1 plus yield over 2 and times 2. So instead of memorizing this, then we already divide all the things, all the information to the semi-annual information. So by then you just do like what we usually do: coupon 1 minus 1 plus oh, I'm sorry again, it should be minus, yeah. Let me erase this first. 1 minus 1 plus like this plus par 1 plus yield. Oh, this one is minus, okay, minus and minus, sorry for that. And this is also minus, yeah. Okay, so we have already changed the C from 85 to 85 over 2, 42.5. 1 minus 1 plus 3.75%, 40 over 3.75% plus 1000. So you don't have to divide the par, yeah, to 2, because par is always at the end of the period. 1 plus 3.75% minus 40. So then it will gives you, wait a minute, I have measured that too. I think it's 110275. 175. So you see, if the more frequent that the bond will be given in a year, the value is higher than before, than annually. Okay. Okay, so this is the example of when the yield is unknown. Yeah, so I took the time diagram from the previous exercise. So say that this is unavailable. So this is the question. Yeah, all are the same, and we need the price. So price will be available. Price of the bond will be given. So you see, if we have, I will go to the next the exercise. Yeah. Okay, so this is the exercise from the book here, that the market price, this is from Sheridan's book, yeah. The price will be $400. The N is 8 year, and the par is 500. Par $500. That pays 4% annual interest rate, but makes interest payment on a semi-annual basis. Oh, okay. Interest payments will be on semi-annual basis. So we go here to price is the same. The N will be 8 times 2 because this is semi-annual, yeah. Par is still the same. What else? Oh, the coupon will be 4%, 4% a year, annual. Now we go directly to 2%, yeah, times par is 500, so it means 1010, yeah. 2 times 500, 1000 over percentage here, so it will be 1000, sorry, $10. Okay, so look, if we use our value of bond, what is it called again, equation. So C is 1 minus 1 plus yield minus n over yield, yeah, plus par 1 plus yield minus n. Okay, now where is the price will be here in this equation? The price is the value of the bond, so instead of value of the bond we change here as the price. Okay, this is the same, yeah. So price, okay, I will put the price here. So now we fill in all the number here. Price is 400, equal with coupon is 10. Oh, yeah, 10, yeah. This is semi-annual already, yeah. Semi-annual, 1 minus. Now this is the question will be, what is the yield? Okay, in semi-annually, because we are the the range here is the semi-annually. Okay, yeah. So back again here, this is 16 minus over yield plus par is 500, 1 plus yield. Okay, now if we do that with the calculator, we cannot solve this, so we need an iteration to do that, yeah, iteration. So what is the iteration means here? So we will put, so look, the value, we will put the value against the yield, right? So now the yield that we are looking for here, and this is 400, yeah. So in between the value of bond and also the yield here, there is a value on the right side, say F2, and this is on the left side of VB is Phi1. So it can be smaller, Phi1 can be smaller than 400, but Phi2 might be bigger than 400. So this is like a how do you call that, a number line, yeah. I think it is called with number line in the Cartesian diagram. So we are going to guess, yeah, what is the value of the yield here. So we know that the C is 2%. I will go far from 2%, like 10% here on the right side of yield, and I will give you like 1%, yeah. So I make an guessing based on the coupon here. So the left, now after this we are going to find what is the value of bond when we fill in here as a 1%, yeah, and also what is the value to here when it is 10%. Okay, so let me calculate this for Phi1. V1 when the 10 is 1 minus 1 plus what is that again? 1%, yeah, minus 16 plus over 1% plus 500, 1 plus 1% minus 16. So we will have here, let me see, so this will give you 1%, 573.6 dollar, yeah. And for V2, when the yield is 10%, it is 10, 1 minus 1 plus 10% minus 16 over 10% plus 500, 1 plus 10% minus 16, and this will give 573.6. Okay, so we got this value, yeah. So this is a guessing value, or we call that as an iteration. What we do here is in iteration. Okay. Okay, we call that as an iteration or interpolation. Interpolation. This is a theoretical iteration. So what is an interpolation? Interpolation, by the way. So do you remember the in your class of math when we learn about linear function? Yeah, in linear function, when we have two coordinates, then you will be asked to find what is the function of these two coordinates. What is the line that will be crossing those two coordinates? Yeah, so you have two coordinates, x1, y1, and then x2, y2. You can find the linear function here through y minus y1 over y2 minus y1 equal with x minus x1, x2 minus x1, right? Does it ring a bell? Fine. Okay, now we go back again to our guessing value. So we have that V1, like I've said before, it should be this is the value, or this is the price of the bond, and this one is V2. V1 that we have before is for 1%, right? 573.6, and the price here is 450. Let me redo that again, so we'll need to see. So here the price value of bond here is 400. Is it 400? Yeah. Oh yeah, 400 price. And the V2 is 18704. 18704. Okay, with this yield is 1%. This is the yield that we are looking for, and this is at the yield. So you see here, this is the couple, yeah, is 10%. So you check here, yeah, when you check at the value, because it has a nice values over here. So you see here that 400 is in between the V1 and V2, correct? 400 is between 187 and 573.6, even though this is in the other way around, yeah, if we remember about the line number, but that's okay. At least make sure that this always in between the guessing values. Okay, so this is right. Our guessing is in the right path. Yeah, so now this is belong to 1% and this is belong to 10%. So that will be sure that the yield here, it should be the couple of the pair of the price of 400. Now, by using the linear function, now we change the v with the y, so we can find the value of the yield in the price of 400. So instead of y here, I will put v minus v1, v2 minus v1 equal yield that we are looking for. So this is the linear function that the same with this one. Okay. Now the fee here is the price, right? So fee b, the price is 400. v1 is 573.6. This one 187.04 minus 573.6 equal with yield is, yeah, this is the question. Gamma 1 is 1% and this one 10%. Gamma 2, I mean, sorry, not gamma, yeah, it's yield, right? And this is 1%. So 400 minus, I have here 0.45. This one is gamma minus 1%. 10 minus 1, I leave the percentage here, yeah, just like it is. Yeah, so the unit is in percent, so that is okay. You don't have to calculate the percentage as a decimal here, just leave it that way. Okay, so 0.45. Now the 9% here goes to the left, from right to the left. So what is it then? What is the operator here? It's time, right? Times 9% equal with gamma minus 1%. So that will be 4.04% equal with gamma minus 1%. This minus 1% goes to the left. That the operation will be division. No, it's a plus. Come on, guys. Okay, this is the yield. So then the yield of the value of the price is 5.04%. Now there is a long way to go, a long way to go to do. Yeah, so there is a simplified equation to find the yield. Instead of doing interpolation, we just do it with the equation. Yeah, so take a note here. Yield to maturity, YTM or gamma, is equal with coupon plus the price, the par value minus price over, so remember this is only over the end, the period here, yeah, and this is divided with par plus price over 2. Yeah, so the yield to maturity or yield here is, now fill in, the C is the 10, right, plus par 500 minus 400 over 16. Okay, like this, yeah. So you do this under bracket first, equal with 500 plus 400. What is the 2 here? Oh, 2 is belong here, yeah. So be careful with this. Okay, 500 plus 400 over 2 here. So this one is 10 plus 100 over 16. 500 minus 400 is 100. 100 divided with 16 will be 6.25. So 6.25, and this is 900 over 2, and we'll do it 450. Okay, so that will give you 0.04, 0.036, 0.04, or 4%. Well, this is not too close enough, yeah, but this is because this is a simplified equation, and yeah, we can consider it the same, yeah, almost the same, because in the practical world, okay, they always use this equation instead of iteration like this. But of course, there are some advantages and also some disadvantages for both. Yeah, actually, the best way is to do the iteration. But if we have a wide range of the boundaries between the left and the right side of boundaries, if that's too wide, then usually the interpolation will be not too close with the real one. So actually you can put it back into the equation of our first one, our Phoebe, to check whether if you put the wild of 5.04% here, then it will get you the Phoebe of 400. So check, yeah, check whether this will be 400 if you fill in. Okay, and check also what if 4%, which one is close to 400. Okay, so this is the second task to prove, right? Okay. All right. I think this will be the end of my lecture for bond valuation. I will give you another. So we have already two, yeah. The first one is the LIBOR of how to calculate the floating rate, and the second one is this, that you prove that if you put yield of 5 or 4% will be the same as, I mean, is that too far from 400 or not? And what if you put the 4%? Did you get it? Okay, ask me in the chat group, yeah, if you still don't understand about that. Okay, and then the next task is to do this. Okay, so this is the task to do beside those two tasks that I have mentioned before. So collect it on Saturday. Yeah, on second thought, Friday. This Friday, January 3rd at 6 p.m. Okay. All right, and see you on Monday, January 6th for your last exam.